So I'm 26 years old, and I run a mentorship program where I help young men navigate their 20s through a curriculum that I built that brought me from where I was at in 2020, 2021, having all the success on YouTube and the supercars and traveling and not looking at the prices of things, feeling oddly unfulfilled, dissatisfied, confused, frustrated, to where I am today, 5 years later, so firm in my identity, knowing exactly what it is that I have to offer the world. And the curriculum is what brought me from that place to where I am today. I'll have the link down below if you guys want to book a free one-on-one with me. And so this curriculum consists of communication, community, character, fitness and health, business and finance, and faith. Faith is essentially for me in my journey where everything else flowed through, but it is just something we offer gently in our program, whether or not you are someone of faith or not. And so today we're going to be talking about character, a piece of the curriculum that I actually find myself having the hardest time describing to clients on these consultation calls, in the part of the call where I essentially have them rate where they're at in each piece of the curriculum in their life in this season. And the reason character is so difficult is because it encompasses so many different things. One. Two, it's very intangible. Your character is largely dependent on your internal dialogue, how self-aware you are. It's your ability to have perspective, to manage your emotions. And not only is it your intentions, but it's how you walk out those intentions, right? Intentionality is important. Your intentions of why you went into something is important, of course. But oftentimes it's useless if it's not received in a way that reflects good intentions, right? You can intend on giving somebody a gift and being thoughtful, but if you didn't give them the gift, the intention doesn't matter that much. You can intend on being kind and loving to your spouse and let anger get the best of you and not walk that intention out, right? And so it's one thing to have an internal dialogue that is ethical, that is morally sound, loving, and it's another thing to actually walk that out, which is what makes character such a multi-layered piece of your development, and arguably the hardest and most difficult thing to improve upon. For example, fitness and health is something that I think a lot of people find an obsession in because it's so tangible. What you put in is what you get out. I know tomorrow if I eat X amount of calories and I work out for X amount of time or build this habit and do it 5 days a week, I have a really clear idea what the outcome is going to be. But with character, I'm not exactly sure how often I'll be able to internally audit myself. I'm not exactly sure if I'll be able to pull myself out of an emotionally charged situation for a moment to reflect on how I'm behaving. I don't know. I can assume, I can hope, and I can be disciplined in that, but it might take a year to get at control of your emotions, and it might take a couple weeks. It depends on the external circumstance as well. It might be a lot more difficult for somebody to grow and be a loving partner and be a patient partner if their partner on one side is treating them really well and on the other treating them with disrespect, not showing up the way that they want to show up, right? Like, all of these factors play a part in character, which is why I believe it is the hardest piece of your development to move forward in. Now, I also think, like most things in life, those that are most difficult, you get the most out of. Being healthy and feeling good and taking care of yourself and having your recovery in order is a really great thing. And that takes quite a bit of effort. And so the fruit of that is valuable, right? It's feeling good, it's self-confidence, it's longevity, but it's not everything. Communication is another piece of this curriculum where if you want to become a better communicator, read more, expose yourself to good communicators in podcasts or TED Talks or whatever that is. Go take a communications course, right? These are things that logically make sense. Again, an easy input with a guaranteed output. The satisfaction that you will get out of perhaps being a great communicator, the value out of it is good. It's valuable. It will help. One of my favorite things and joys in the world, but it's not that complex. And so the value on the other side, the work needed to become a great communicator isn't incredibly high. The barrier to entry isn't unreasonable. And so what you get out is of moderate value. Whereas character, the molding of oneself character is so difficult. You are going to fail a lot. There is going to be so many times where you don't show up the way that you hope to. But what you get out of becoming a truly self-aware person, somebody who holds perspective, somebody who's empathetic and compassionate, somebody who has patience, who's able to offer true forgiveness, that's going to cost you. And so the value of what you get out of that is immense, arguably the most out of the entire curriculum outside of faith. But what is required of you, comparatively, is immense. And so this is probably what I feel outside of faith to be the most important part of the curriculum. I built this curriculum to create well-rounded individuals. It was the entire point of this business. It was that I saw so many people in their 20s distributing way too much of their attention and way too much of their time to one aspect of their development, which traditionally in young men is business and finance, but not always. I'm not here to say that we don't want to create well-rounded individuals, but there is a way for me to go and kind of opinionatedly calculate which of these pieces of the curriculum do I feel to be more important. All I really need to do is force myself to choose one or choose two, right? So out of the 6 pieces of curriculum, would I rather be a good person and be ethically sound and be kind and be patient and not maybe be fit than alternatively being fit and healthy, but being a piece of crap, not being able to show up in a manner that's loving, not being able to have patience, not being able to have control over my emotions, of course, which is why I think character again sits above health and fitness. But the beautiful thing about this curriculum is that truly I believe this was spirit-led in the way that it was constructed, because I just don't think I'm adequate enough to build something that checks itself out across the board. Is if you prioritize your health and fitness, if you are getting proper rest, if you are sleeping well, if you are eating well and you have high energy and you're exercising and you're getting sunlight and you're hydrated, you're much more likely to have patience. You're much more likely to have control over your emotions because you're coming from a place of joy already. You're coming from a really good foundation. And so, though I find character to be a more important trait than being healthy trickles into your character. Though I find faith to be much more important to have a grounded foundation in than having a thriving business, I also think it's hard to have a beautiful relationship with God. It's hard to be of true service to others when you're stressed out financially. So if you can at least increase your work output, achieve some level of financial security, you can then prioritize more time for your faith. You can then show up in a way where you can let God be the provider and not be in this fight or flight that you need to do all the work, right? And so that trickles into itself. And I can do this really across the board of the curriculum. I truly think God helped me build this curriculum because I couldn't have done that myself. I sort of look at the systems like the Enneagram or the other sort of like curriculum-based conceptual learning products, whatever. And I've looked at them and I can't even fathom how somebody human could create that. Like, it's so intricate. And the craziest thing is there's no holes for the most part. It covers the entire spectrum. And so I've been so infatuated by that. And then later accidentally built something that seemingly is doing the same thing, that seemingly has no holes that I found. And so I truly think the curriculum was spirit-led. And obviously I built the curriculum from a place of it being something that was tested and tried by me, right? It is proven for me was a coping mechanism, but it brought me from where I was at then to where I'm at now, which is why I decided to put it on paper, which is why I decided to write it so people would read. It is essentially a collection of the tangibles, the actionables, that built me into a well-rounded human being, which later led to more opportunity. And not only more opportunity, but a preparation for that opportunity. It brought me to a place where I was no longer idolizing money or dedicating all of my time to my business, and yet I was attracting business naturally. But it was business more predicated on the mission of my purpose. It was purpose-driven business that was coming my way. It was unintentionally manifesting through personal development. As I built myself, opportunity came. As I became a well-rounded individual, it was hard for the world and circumstance to break me because I had this foundational peace and trust in God. And it was through that I found the importance in character. It was through that I found an importance for taking care of my body, aka my temple. It was through that I started building this truly vibrant community of people whom I admire, people that are truly selfless, that are of service, and that are on a mission aligned with mine, a mission aligned with the kingdom. This curriculum is truly God-breathed. And I say that as not somebody who's priding themselves that God created something through, but rather from a humble position that God used something I wanted to build in a way far more miraculous than I could have done on my own. And character has honestly been the toughest part of that journey. Character is the thing that I think I still struggle with most within the whole curriculum. It's the thing that I think I'll never stop growing in, where I think perhaps you could come to a place in your ability to communicate where it's adequate. It's at such an elite level that you can only choose to move forward in it if you so please. If I wanted to become a better communicator and I was at the Jordan Peterson level of communication, at that point, really, you just need to keep surrounding yourself with intellects. Or as character, you are continuously humbled day in and day out. I will be 60, no matter how wise or wisdom-filled I am, and I will still find myself falling short. I will still find myself in scenarios where I didn't put somebody else first, where I thought selfishly instead of selflessly, where perhaps I lacked patience because I let my emotions get the best of me. Like, it's such a foundational challenge as a human, which is why the faith to me is so important, is because I have never been able to achieve the level that I have today of character before it being modeled to me through Christ, before having the Spirit take over my internal dialogue and my being and helping me be someone of more patience, helping me think of others first, giving me these sort of internal cues to go and help someone instead of unintentionally looking down upon them, thinking I'm better than. It's gifted me with sort of this speed run of compassion and empathy that I just didn't have before. It's something I tried practicing before and still fell short time and time again. There is a hugely strong correlation between developing in your character, right? Your internal dialogue, your internal being, becoming more ethical and morally sound, and a relationship with Jesus. Truly, I haven't seen character modeled anywhere else better than in the perfection that was Jesus, right? A man who was being crucified on the cross and cried out, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do," who showed forgiveness amidst pure hatred. Things that we as fallen people can't often comprehend, but that's the model. That's what's being modeled to us. And so all of the intricacies of this curriculum sort of flow into each other. And I do believe that there is sort of a hierarchy of importance when it comes to these things that I think properly encompass the human experience as a whole. And I think faith sits at the top for me. I think in general, but I offer that gently. I think character sits above many of these other things. I think your community is really, really important. I think it's hard to even prioritize your health, including your mental health, if you don't have a strong community, if you don't have people around you modeling that. It's hard to be healthy if your community around you is unhealthy. You are a product of those who surround you. My leg's completely numb. This happens when I film YouTube videos. I'm going to get up and not be able to stand. And even if we take the curriculum and I find the least valuable of them, there's still such an importance on it. There's still a reason why it's taught in the curriculum, right? For example, if I were to just throw a guess out there, I truly, truly believe, as somebody who's experienced success at a young age, that your business and your finance is the least important of them all. Why? Well, because I think if you prioritize the other five, some level of success in business and finance comes naturally. So if you're going to choose which ones to distribute your energy towards most, don't let it be the thing that naturally improves if you distribute your energy elsewhere. On the contrary, it would be a really hard sell for someone to convince me that it is more important to prioritize your business and your finances over your health. Because I would look at somebody who's extremely wealthy, who is not in good health, as somebody who's unsuccessful. And I would rather have the contrary. I would rather be healthy and perhaps struggling in my business or struggling financially than the alternative, truly. And I mean that. That's calculated. That makes sense, logical sense. I think most people would even agree upon that. Most people who aren't blinded by what the world tells them. I would much rather have a strong community around me than be rich with a weak community, with a community that's a bad example on me, with a community lacking in ethics, right? I think we can all kind of agree on that. And so sure, there is a hierarchy here, but it doesn't mean that business and finance is unimportant. I mean, even if you want to take a faith standpoint, our toil is important. God worked to build everything in 6 days and rested on the seventh. He didn't build everything in a day and rest for 6. There is an importance in working. Jesus was a carpenter. Jesus worked harder for the kingdom, for his ministry, than most people work at their jobs, right? Like, work has been modeled to us. It's important. Financial security is important. Whether or not that was the true intent of creation, we live in a world that is broken and is largely ran by money. And if you don't have money, it is hard to function in other parts of your development, in other parts of your life. It's hard to show up when you're stressed about paying bills, stressed about eating, putting food on the table, providing, being the head of a family, and stressed about those you love most being provided for, right? So it's not unimportant. It's something we focus on. It's just not nearly as important as building your character. And so I'd encourage everyone, implore you guys, if you're spending more time focused on your business and your finances than you are about developing as a man or a woman, that needs to change. There needs to be more intentionality, more time and attention put towards self-development than just putting all of your time and attention into your business. There needs to be more intentionality around taking care of yourself, because I promise you that is a lever worth pulling even in the world of business. You will not operate at max efficiency in your business if you are not sleeping well. You think the kind of like Mark Wahlberg grind mentality, wake up at 4 a.m. and go to bed at 12 is benefiting your work because you're in like grind season? You're missing the point. You would operate at a much higher capacity if you slept for 8 hours and had 4 less hours in your day to work. You would work much more efficiently in these shorter amount of time. You'd be more confident in yourself, in your body. You'd feel better. Your quality of life would be improved. How could you not operate better in your work if your quality of life is improved, if your mental health is improved? And so I challenge you guys today, whether you do it with me or not, to audit the facets of your life that I have in the curriculum and start figuring out if you're prioritizing them in the right manner. This is going to be a 6-part series, so we're going to be diving into each piece of the curriculum. This was sort of the introduction one, the one I find most important, so I probably blabbered a little more than I will on the other ones. The other ones will be more focused, and I hope to provide some valuable information pertaining to how much that aspect of my development has changed my life. Cheers. Oh no, this is not good. That's literally numb. Oh, I can't.